I'm Madhu Sharma and this is Design Mind. Every episode, we teach your mind about design by analysing a website. In this episode of Design Mind, we have a roundup of scrolling one-page websites. As we will see, these sites can offer unusual and innovative designs, but they can also create a few usability issues. First off is French site Benedict Burger, which I've run through Google Translate. The site isn't actually selling anything, it's just showing the recipe for a Benedict Burger. What's striking about the site is the amazing sense of motion, with ingredients falling into place as the user scrolls down. The large photos make it easy for the user to see all the textures of the ingredients. In addition, the falling ingredients use an eye-catching 3D effect, which gives the food a strong physical feel. The result is an intense emotional connection to the food. The page finishes off with this excellent photo, which lets us see the burger up close. The close-up is so extreme that we can see every detail clearly. The headline is correct. Yummy indeed. The only downside with the site is that the scrolling only works if you use the scroll bar. Using the page down keys on the keyboard destroys the effect. On mobile, the design reformats into a more traditional photo and caption style layout. The 3D motion effect is removed. Although not as exciting as the desktop version, it still works well, mainly thanks to the excellent photography. Next up, we have Appliance Tech Limited, which, as we will see, scrolls both horizontally and vertically. Its use of scrolling literally takes the user through a tour of the company's services. There's a number of clever touches, which we shall go through. As we scroll, the background blurs, which makes it easier to focus on the text content. These rollout boxes are used to display information, which helps to keep the content streamlined. When scrolling, the number counters increase, which is a great way to reinforce the statistics. Quotes also fade in, which again helps to streamline the display and control and direct the user's attention. At the end, we get the call to action. I'm in two minds about this design. It's certainly very impressive. The experience has a clear beginning, middle and end, which is something websites generally lack. In many ways, it's a frictionless experience. The user doesn't have to move the mouse, select links, and click on options. Instead, they can just tap the down arrow button on the keyboard and have the benefits of the company demonstrated to them. On the other hand, the design suffers due to its uniqueness. Scrolling using the down arrow doesn't feel like a natural way to browse a website, especially when you have to use the down arrow to scroll horizontally, such as in this section. Presumably, the designer felt it would be simpler if the down arrow key did all the scrolling, but even in spite of this simplicity, it still feels odd. Also, this type of automated scrolling doesn't really lend itself to at-a-glance viewing. Although they have streamlined the text content, it's not possible to read everything while scrolling. Instead, the user has to stop to read the text, which spoils the flow of motion and so ends up in a very jerky experience. They should have kept to a vertical layout for this section, as it would have been much smoother to read. The site does have a navigation button that lets the user jump between sections. However, this causes the content to whiz by, which is very disorientating. It would have been better if the next section just loaded instantly, without having to go through all the sections. On mobile, the design has been reworked to a traditional one-column design, with certain sections requiring the user to swipe horizontally. This is far less impressive than the desktop version, but it does feel more natural to browse. Overall, it's definitely great to see a website try something new. However, I think they should have toned it down a little bit, so it felt more natural. Finally, we have Rit Team. This is a Russian website that uses a journey metaphor for its design, similar to Appliance Tech Limited, which we just saw. The difference is that instead of the whole layout being animated, it's only the car that moves. Like the Appliance Tech site, the content does fade into view, but this only happens when the car arrives on the scene. This actually works really well. The user can stop to read the content, and unlike the appliance text site, this doesn't spoil the flow of animation, as in real life, we are used to seeing a car stop when it arrives at a destination, so the pauses in the scrolling feel natural. Disappointingly, this site doesn't have a mobile version, and as impressive as the desktop site is, it doesn't work that well on mobile at all. That concludes our roundup of one-page scrolling sites. As we have seen, these sites can sometimes suffer from usability issues, but they also open up opportunities for unique forms of web design. That's it for this episode of Design Mind. A new episode of Design Mind is released every Monday and Thursday. Find us on the web at designmind.info. Our YouTube channel is at youtube.com/designmindinfo. You can also find us on iTunes. We'd love it if you could leave us a review at any of these places. Until next time, happy designing!